Things at the Hengmeng Dao ancestor level, a regular third-rate race probably doesn't even have many of them. Throughout the endless Hengmeng era, there are likely only a dozen or 2 dozen at most. This is comparable to about 1/7 of the wealth of a third-rate race. Seeing that there were so many treasures, Chu had decided that after the cultivation from this simulation was fed back, he would immediately and heavily reward the younger generations of his Chu family. He would give them a massive upgrade. Currently, the strength of the many cultivators was still too weak. Although many had already reached the celestial venerable realm, it was not enough. He glanced at the many members of the Chu family, who were running rampant inside the myriad heavens mall. Chu He's eyes were filled with loving kindness. Soon, he planned to raise all their strength to the great Luo realm, then to Dao Venerable, and finally elevate them to the half-step chaos great Dao controller. Since his family descendants were so capable in the simulation, and so good at giving their old ancestor surprises, then Chu He also had to give them a huge surprise. He also planned to be a bit more generous. Chu He truly loved these family descendants too much. The total value of the cultivation resources given to these family descendants was not even higher than the value of a single quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor level heaven and earth treasure, yet the returns these people brought him truly exceeded 10,000, 100,000, or even 1,000,000 times. My current comprehension ability should be several times greater compared to an ordinary chaos great Dao controller. Although my fighting strength exceeds theirs by several million times, while comprehension ability and fighting strength are somewhat linked, the connection is not that deep. Strong fighting strength does not necessarily mean that comprehension ability will increase alongside it. It is impossible for one's comprehension abilitito also exceed the same level by several million times just because one's fighting strength does. But that was before. Now, with the help of so many treasures, I wonder what extent my comprehension ability can be raised to. Exceeding the same level by 1,000 times, 10,000 times, or even higher. Among these, there are 3 grandmist level treasures. I haven't tried the effect, so I don't know. Carrying extreme anticipation and various thoughts, you began closed-door cultivation inside the city lord's mansion of the myriad heavens mall, continuously refining one quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor level heaven and earth treasure after another. All of them were used to enhance your own comprehension ability. Instantly, upon refining the first one, your comprehension ability directly increased to a level hundreds of times greater than the same level. This degree of comprehension ability brought great clarity to your mind. Countless matters, ideas, and brilliant thoughts concerning the minor Dao of imprint, the branch of the indestructible great Dao you were preparing to create, continuously surged into your mind. This instantly gave you a general direction for creation, whereas before you only knew the name of the minor Dao of imprint. The first step is always the hardest. Others might need an unknown number of chaos eras just to take the first step, but you have already taken it. You instantly surpassed countless people in the all heavens and myriad realms who had just achieved a breakthrough to become chaos great Dao controllers. There were many, many of them. Your comprehension ability increased by several dozen times, from several times the same level to hundreds of times the same level. Don't assume that because it only increased by several dozen times, this enhancement of comprehension ability would only increase your creation speed by several dozen times, would only change the minor Dao that originally required millions of Hengmeng eras to initially create, into one that only requires tens of thousands of Hengmeng eras to create. If anyone truly had this thought, they would be profoundly mistaken. This is like studying a math problem. Someone can solve a math problem in 1 minute, while another person might think for an hour or even a day and still not figure it out. Can you say that the person who solved it in 1 minute is hundreds or thousands of times smarter than the person who couldn't solve it after thinking for a day? No, forget hundreds or thousands of times smarter. If measured using specific numerical values, the person who solved it in 1 minute is probably only 0.2 times smarter than the person who couldn't solve it even after a day. If an ordinary person's IQ is 1, then in reality, someone who can get into a second-tier university has an IQ of 1.2, a key university 1.3, a top scorer in the National College Entrance Exam 1.5, a technology mogul 1.5, and a scientific giant who can trigger a technological explosion and influence a century has an IQ of 1.8. The difference in IQ is less than 1 time, but the achievements brought to a person are countless times greater. And the increase you just experienced, which was several dozen times, brings you an enhancement of several thousand or tens of thousands of times. You might now only need about 100 billion chaos eras to initially establish the minor Tao of imprint in your heart. This speed is already very fast. At least for those chaos great Tao controllers who have never even seen quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor level heaven and earth treasures, who cannot even smell the scent of the treasures, and who lack background or talent, this speed is already something they look up to. Most chaos great Tao controllers cannot even smell the scent of quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor level heaven and earth treasures, from which one can imagine how incredibly lucky you are. And how good your 2 descendants are to you. Of course, you are also good enough to them. Without you, their strength would never have been able to increase to more than 10,000 times the same level in the half-step chaos great Tao controller realm. If they didn't have this fighting strength at the same level, they couldn't have become seeds of Hongmeng, nor could they have received such treatment among the human race. You are mutual, you are good to them, and they are good to you. Refining the second quasi-grandmist level heaven and earth treasure, your comprehension ability increased by another few tenths. The first one had such a great effect, increasing it by several dozen times, because your foundation was very poor. Now that your comprehension ability has increased to hundreds of times the same level, trying to rely on a single quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor level heaven and earth treasure to increase it by several dozen times again. That is impossible. Do not even think about this situation. It's good enough if it can increase by a few tenths. Now it can still increase by a few tenths, but later on, it will probably only increase by a tiny bit. The further along you go, the naturally harder it becomes to enhance your comprehension ability. There cannot be a fixed quantity where using a certain amount of heaven and earth treasure yields a proportional increase. The effect gets weaker and weaker. This is like running. When first starting out, the biggest improvement comes from running 50 meters. Later, once potential is exhausted, even training oneself to death, trying to increase speed by another 0.1 seconds might result in no progress even after years, and perhaps even regression. The third one could only increase your comprehension ability by 20%, the fourth by 17%, and the fifth, which was of higher quality than ordinary quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor level heaven and earth treasure, increased your comprehension ability by another 20%. The sixth, the seventh, the eighth, and the ninth. 10,000 years passed. You have already refined over 3,000 heaven and earth treasures, and your innate comprehension ability has reached a level approximately 2,000 times greater than that of a chaos great Tao controller of the same rank. The subsequent heaven and earth treasures have had a negligible effect on you. You estimate that even if you used all the remaining ones, the effect would not be significant. At most, they could increase your innate comprehension ability by another 5%. Therefore, you do not plan to use any of the remaining quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor level heaven and earth treasures. You plan to give them to your outstanding descendants. Using them on them is the way to maximize benefits. Giving one to each person could create thousands of chaos great Tao controllers, whose comprehension ability is dozens or hundreds of times higher than others at the same rank. Using them on yourself alone would only increase it by 5%. If you were a lone wolf, using them all would be fine, but you have a large family supporting you. All right, now I can try out the effects of the Hongmeng Tao ancestor level heaven and earth treasures. How powerful of an increase can they provide? To what extent can they boost my innate comprehension ability, which is already 2,000 times greater than a chaos great Tao controller of the same rank? I am very much looking forward to it. Number 7, Chu. He put away all the quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor-level heaven and earth treasures in front of him, his gaze burning intensely as he looked at the 3 Hengmeng Tao ancestor-level treasures that remained and had not been put away. One was shaped like a lotus, but possessed 36 colors. Just breathing near this treasure made his entire body and mind feel clear, and his comprehension ability seemed to increase. It was a 108-grade myriad heavens enlightenment treasure lotus. It is said that this treasure can only grow robustly without withering if it is cultivated in a pond formed by the convergence of 9 splendor celestial water. Furthermore, the process requires 100,000 Hengmeng eras just for birth, another 100,000 Hengmeng eras for growth, and a final 100,000 Hengmeng eras for full maturity. This entire process constantly requires 9 splendor celestial water, and 9 splendor celestial water is no ordinary substance. A single drop is enough to buy the life of a chaos great Tao controller. The expenditure over these hundreds of thousands of primordial epochs, who knows how many lives of chaos great Tao controllers it could buy, just to produce a single one of these lotuses. The other was a drop of transparent liquid, yet it contained countless Tao rhythms, the heavenly wisdom divine liquid. The origin of this item is even more extraordinary. It was created by the human ancestor, a true great divine ability user, and a true invincible existence from the human ancestor lineage of the human race. He used his great magic power, combined with gathering hundreds of thousands of Hengmeng Tao ancestor-level experts, to slightly alter the inherent rules of the all heavens and myriad realms. He ensured that all life born in the all heavens and myriad realms, after the rules were changed, excluding the human race, would have a tiny bit of their innate wisdom and comprehension ability drawn away by an invisible force at the moment of birth. Originally, a person's IQ was 1 before the rules changed, but after the change, and having a tiny bit extracted, their IQ became 0.99. That tiny bit continuously gathered with the portions extracted from everyone else, collecting the tiny bit from everyone in the entire all heavens and myriad realms, slowly flowing into a pond-shaped treasure used by the human race to receive this wisdom. Only after extracting continuously from everyone in the entire, all heavens and myriad realms for 1,000 Hengmeng eras could a single drop of this liquid be obtained. Chu He, impressive. Everyone born, except for the human race, loses a bit of IQ right after birth. It dropped from 1 to 0.99. If the strength of the human race experts were just a little stronger, and they extracted a little more aggressively, they would drain it all. Wouldn't that mean everyone born in the entire, all heavens and myriad realms, after that point would be mentally disabled at birth? Wouldn't they all become unintelligent beasts? The human race really knows how to play the game. The third item was a leaf, the progenitor leaf of the myriad heavens enlightenment tea tree. In the various Xuanhuan worlds and cultivation worlds within the all heavens and myriad realms, there are many enlightenment tea trees, and these enlightenment tea trees with the same name are all origin incarnations of this progenitor of the myriad heavens enlightenment tea tree. It is the source from which all enlightenment tea trees were born. It is a Hengmeng Tao ancestor-level plant life form imprisoned by the human race. Its leaves, and everything about it, are treasures from head to toe. Other enlightenment tea leaves only have the effect of helping others comprehend the great Tao. Yet, a single leaf from the progenitor of the myriad heavens enlightenment tea tree can greatly enhance the comprehension ability of experts at the chaos great Tao controller and quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor levels. This is just the leaf. If it were the tree heart, it would be the treasure of all treasures, highly effective even for Hengmeng Tao ancestor level experts, capable of greatly boosting their innate comprehension ability. These 3 Hengmeng Tao ancestor level treasures are the items given to you by your 2 good descendants, Chu Yunshin and Chu Zunshan. Every single one has an incredible background. Picking up the leaf of the progenitor of the myriad heavens enlightenment tea tree, you began refining it frantically. Immediately upon refining it, your comprehension ability, which previously couldn't be pushed any higher, suddenly shot straight up. 2,100 times, 2,200 times, 2,500 times, 3,000 times, 3,500 times, 4,000 times, 5,000 times, 6,000 times, up to 12,000 times. A single Hengmeng Dao ancestor level heaven and earth treasure increased your innate talent by several times over. It was directly boosted to a level more than 10,000 times that of the same rank. With this innate comprehension ability talent, your mind felt utterly clear. Previously, having a talent hundreds of times greater than the same rank was already enough to give you confidence that you could initially create the minor Dao of imprint in only a few 100 billion chaos eras, thereby achieving the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm. Now, you are incomparably stronger than when your talent was merely hundreds of times greater than the same rank. You are now confident that you will be able to achieve quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor status in only a few million chaos eras. This speed is already extremely fast. At the very least, it is enough to shock those belonging to the third-rate and second-rate races within the all heavens and myriad realms. However, you are still not entirely satisfied with this speed. A few million chaos eras is countless times longer than the time it took you to cultivate your current level. Excluding the time you spent being dragged into continuous combat by the Lord of the Myriad Heavens Maul for one Myriad Heavens epic, the total cultivation time from all your other simulations combined does not even amount to one chaos era. Although you still understand the principle of not being too greedy, having such a fast speed is already good, and this is still thanks to your descendants, but you somewhat don't want to acknowledge this principle. You still want to be faster. All three Grandmist Dao ancestor-level treasures have been completely refined, and your own comprehension ability has increased to more than 22,000 times that of those at the same realm. As for the speed of creating minor Daos, it has increased by more than 10 times again. It will only take about several 100,000 chaos eras to break through to a quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor. Few tilde. Refining three grandmist Dao ancestor-level heaven and earth treasures gives such a huge improvement. One can imagine the two descendants who are being Chinese letter in the human race ancestral land. How astonishing their improvements will be with so many cultivation resources. If I just get what they scrape from their fingernails, I can have this kind of change. Those two might only need a few 100 to 1,000 chaos eras to achieve the quasi-Hengmeng Dao fruit realm. Once they break through, their strength will definitely surpass mine. After so many simulations, with so many talented families, such fast cultivation speed, and such awesome strength, this is the first time I'm about to be surpassed by my descendants. Truly, life is unpredictable. Thinking of the scene where his two descendants would soon surpass him, break through to quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor first, and even break through to Hengmeng Dao ancestor before him. You truly didn't know what to say. In all past simulations, you were always the one leading your descendants to soar. Well, this time it's your turn, old 7. It's actually your descendants leading you to soar. Although this feeling is not bad, being filial to those descendants, how should I put it? It's still lacking something. It made you feel a bit uncomfortable. It's not that you don't want your descendants to do well, it's just a bit unsettling. Shaking your head, your emotions complicated again, you felt you were being a bit petty. It's a bit like wanting to have your cake and eat it too. You quickly stopped these petty thoughts. Now that your comprehension ability has fully improved, you must also wholeheartedly start creating your own minor Dao to achieve the realm of quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor as soon as possible. To achieve Hengmeng Dao ancestor as soon as possible. As long as you don't achieve Hengmeng Dao ancestor and are not invincible, you will feel insecure all over. Time passed minute by minute, and millions of years quickly went by. Every 100,000 years or so, you would receive heaven and earth treasures sent by your two descendants. The ones sent later were no longer quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor level. They were all Hengmeng Dao ancestor level, sometimes 2 items, sometimes 1, sometimes 3. Each one was worth an unknown number of your lives, worth an unknown number of Chu families. However, after receiving about 30 more of these heaven and earth treasures, which boosted your comprehension ability to over 70,000 times that of those at the same realm, your two descendants stopped giving them, because they didn't have many left either. Although the treatment for a seed of Hengmeng is very high, possessing various special privileges, it's impossible to have an unlimited supply of Hengmeng Dao ancestor-level resources. The human race is also very short on such resources. Don't think that because the human race occupies the center of the all heavens and myriad realms and is so domineering, constantly encroaching on the interests of various races throughout the all heavens and myriad realms, destroying a second-rate race here and another race there, that they seem very rich. But also consider the number of human race powerhouses. A single race has over 20 million Hengmeng Dao ancestors. Everyone needs cultivation resources. There are many resources, but also many people to distribute them to. Being able to give over 30 items was the limit they could provide, the limit they could secretly stash away. Anymore, if you used it all and they didn't, their comprehension ability wouldn't improve, and they wouldn't be able to create a minor Dao within the average time it takes most seeds of Hengmeng. It would then be very likely that those human race, Hengmeng Dao ancestor-level powerhouses would detect something unusual. The human race has cultivated many seeds of Hengmeng. Perhaps cultivating them to the Hengmeng Dao ancestor level doesn't have a precise timeline, but cultivating them to the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor level. The time difference is basically not too great. While you were creating minor Daos and steadily improving your own strength, the entire Chaos Chu family was also continuously expanding its influence. Millions of years ago, due to the emergence of millions of newly born Chaos Great Dao controllers, the Chu family easily controlled the trillions of Chaos spacetime under the heavenly evolution Chaos Great Dao controller. No accidents occurred during this process. All potential accidents were nipped in the bud. In front of millions of Chaos Great Dao controllers, all conspiracies, all resistance were but jokes. It was a complete Chinese letter. After gaining control of trillions of Chaos spacetime and unearthing all the Chaos rare treasures from them, coupled with your family's overall strength or a talent bonus, everyone who refined 30 million Chaos rare treasures was 100% able to break through to a Chaos Great Dao controller. The failure rate was 0. Currently, even with your grandson Chu Kingshan, the clan chief, setting contribution value restrictions, where only those who reach a certain contribution can have the opportunity to obtain a large number of Chaos rare treasures and break through to a Chaos Great Dao controller. The number of Chaos Great Dao controllers in your Chu family has already reached 500 million. Among them, countless individuals surpass those at the same realm by dozens or even hundreds of times in strength, and those who can be called seeds of Hengmeng within the human race exceed 300,000. If these people were exposed, it would cause a major earthquake throughout the entire all heavens and myriad realms. All Hengmeng Dao ancestor-level powerhouses would turn their attention to this chaos spacetime. To this small Chu family. Damn, it's too heaven-defying. Seeds of Hengmeng can be created at will. What does this represent? This represents that in the future, Hengmeng Dao ancestor powerhouses will be everywhere. Hengmeng Dao ancestors will be less valuable than dogs. It means the version has been updated. Hundreds of millions of Chaos Great Dao controllers gathered in trillions of Chaos spacetime. This density of strong individuals is unrivaled. Even in the human race ancestral land, there isn't this density of strong individuals. Basically, you can encounter a fellow Chaos Great Tao controller every few steps. If there were any conflicts among the many powerhouses of the Chu family, all surrounding chaos spacetime would disappear. Therefore, over the years, the Chu family has been constantly expanding outwards, using the same method as you. As long as they make the other chaos Great Tao controllers in the surrounding chaos spacetime all fall into an illusion, they can obtain all the chaos spacetime controlled by them. Of course, this approach makes it very easy to expose the Chu family's situation. If these chaos Great Tao controllers fail to return to their racial ancestral lands for a long time, the powerful experts behind them will definitely notice the anomaly. One or two people would then come over to investigate, and at that point, the fact that these chaos Great Tao controllers were being controlled would be exposed. Similarly, if they didn't use illusions but resorted to enslavement instead, they could indeed return to their ancestral lands, but they would be discovered immediately upon arrival. In an ancestral land teeming with powerful experts, it is simply impossible to prevent others from discovering that members of their own race have been enslaved. Therefore, in order to control these non-human race chaos Great Tao controllers without exposing the control, the many chaos Great Tao controllers of the Chu family put their heads together. They specifically developed a special kind of illusion. This illusion is the regional illusion. When these non-human race chaos Great Tao controllers, who are controlled by the illusion, return to their ancestral lands, they are not under the illusion's control. Since the scenes they experienced while controlled were just scenes from their daily lives, even if the illusionary control ceases, they won't feel anything unusual. Because, in the eyes of these controlled individuals, they are simply living normally, returning to their ancestral lands every so often to report on the recent situation in their respective chaos spacetime. There is no abnormality throughout the entire process. However, once they return to the chaos spacetime from the spatial formation, they immediately fall back into the illusion. Falling into the illusion of their usual life, they once again experience no abnormality whatsoever. This is the regional illusion, invented by the Chu family. The effect can be said to be incredibly awesome. At the very least, after you saw it, you immediately applied it to the heavenly evolution chaos Great Tao controller. Good things must be shared with friends. You possess a great spirit of sharing. Observing this regional illusion, the Chu family, which you belong to, has already taken control of the chaos spacetime belonging to thousands of chaos Great Tao controllers from different races in the surrounding area. In total, they have controlled trillions of chaos spacetime. All the half-step chaos Great Tao controllers and all the De Luo Tao Lord Realm experts within these chaos spacetime, as long as they are not human race, have become servants of your Chu family. All the cultivation resources within them have fallen into the hands of your Chu family, allowing your family members to squander them freely. It is worth mentioning that these thousands of chaos Great Tao controllers do not include that Angel Clan bastard, Yu Xuan Chaos Great Tao controller, who once almost exposed you. That individual was long ago dealt with by the Angel Clan. After the Angel Clan was confronted by the human race's Xuan Ming Grandmist Tao ancestor, subjected to intense humiliation, had their backbone broken, and had a large number of racial geniuses and numerous Hung Meng Tao ancestor-level treasures taken away. There is no need to elaborate on the anger of the Angel Clan. Any normal person would understand. The fury had to be vented on someone. It couldn't be bottled up inside. Naturally, they dared not seek trouble with the human race. Likewise, they certainly couldn't vent this anger upon the Hung Meng Tao ancestor of the race, who had been spreading the rumors everywhere. This is impossible. A Hung Meng Tao ancestor is the true pillar of their Angel Clan. It was already fortunate that the Hung Meng Tao ancestor didn't direct his wrath at them. How could they dare vent their anger upon the Hung Meng Tao ancestor? Since this was not feasible, and that was not feasible, they could only vent the matter upon the source, and the source of this matter was Yu Chaos Great Tao Controller. If they couldn't deal with the human race, and couldn't deal with the Chaos Great Tao Controllers of their own race, could they still not deal with a mere Chaos Great Tao Controller within their race? It was this Angel Clan bastard, an ant among Chaos Great Tao Controllers, who caused their Angel Clan to suffer such humiliation and pay such a huge price. Under the condemnation of numerous Chaos Great Tao Controllers and quasi-Grandmist Tao Ancestor realm experts, Yu Chaos Great Tao Controller paid the price he deserved and was carved onto the racial pillar of shame, allowing countless members of the race to scorn and curse him for generations to come. Damn it, I suddenly feel like this Angel Clan deserves death even more. If they hadn't intervened recklessly, wouldn't Seventh Brother have been able to capture this Yu Chaos Great Tao Controller? At that time, Seventh Brother could have dealt with that bastard himself, doing whatever he wanted. Wouldn't that be more satisfying? Making him repent in his own world for thousands or tens of thousands of myriad realm epics. But this Angel Clan, lacking the ability to settle scores with the human race, actually stooped so low as to turn on their own people. Even I, who am just starting out, wouldn't do something like harming my own descendants. The Angel Clan is worse than beasts. From now on, the label attached to the Angel Clan must include worse than pigs and dogs. Seeing that the Angel Clan was truly worse than pigs and dogs, Chu He felt he should represent the moon and eliminate them even more. He, old ancestor Chu, the emissary of justice. Within a certain Xuanhuan minor 1,000 worlds, in the Tianchu chaos spacetime. At this moment, outside this minor 1,000 worlds, you are looking at it with a face full of smiles. Don't misunderstand. It's not because you discovered some special treasure or some useful treasure within this minor 1,000 worlds. Although some places within certain chaos spacetime might give birth to quasi-Grandmist Tao Ancestor or even Hengmeng Tao Ancestor level treasures, this is not impossible. Among the all heavens and myriad realms numerous chaos spacetime, there are always a few that are special. However, this does not include the Tianchu chaos spacetime where you reside. It is just an ordinary chaos spacetime among the many chaos spacetime in the all heavens and myriad realms. The reason you have the leisure to look at this minor 1,000 worlds is simply to relax after cultivating for so long, and also to interact with your descendants and enjoy the happy feeling of receiving their worshipful gazes. Since the Chu family has stood firm in the boundless void realm for such a long time, many prodigal descendants have been born. These prodigal descendants are neither entirely good nor entirely bad. It's bad because they are too dissolute. It's good because these dissolute scions, who spend all their time in the all heavens and myriad realms looking for fun, have also obtained many of those miraculous systems and created many interesting games. What you are playing now is one of those mini games. This game is called Exposure Game. In this minor 1,000 worlds named Xuanfeng, one of your descendants from the Chu family, Chu Xiangyun, is playing a role in the minor 1,000 worlds, becoming a protagonist who is constantly mocked by petty ruffians and attracts trouble wherever he goes. In the Xuanfeng minor 1,000 worlds, there are 4 great holy lands. The strongest experts in these holy lands are all great existences at the 9th tier peak realm, respectfully known as martial god by the world. And Yunfeng Holy Land is one of these 4 great holy lands. Today is the day Yunfeng Holy Land recruits disciples. As the Holy Land's chaos bell chimed 3 times, in an instant, the hundreds of millions of miles of vast land where Yunfeng Holy Land is located saw countless phenomena appear. Watching these phenomena and listening to the 3 chimes of the chaos bell, the billions of young geniuses from all over the minor 1,000 worlds, who had been waiting at the entrance of the Holy Land, showed excited expressions on their faces. After waiting for so long, they were already impatient to join Yunfeng Holy Land and become a high and mighty Holy Land disciple. In this world, Holy Land disciples are heaven. Holy Land disciples are masters. Even an outer sect disciple enjoys various privileges when they go out. Except for those martial king powerhouses at the 7th-tier realm, almost no one can afford to provoke them. If any small family produces a Holy Land disciple, the entire family will become highly sought after in their surrounding area and will experience tremendous development, becoming the object of flattery and favors from countless people. But unfortunately, becoming a Holy Land disciple is not that easy. The billions of people here are all recognized as the strongest geniuses within tens of thousands of miles of their respective areas. Many of them are even on the prodigy list. For example, Yun Shengshen, the contemporary young lord of the martial Emperor Yun family, ranked 3rd on the prodigy list. Luo Tiansheng, the strongest disciple in the Luoyun sect, an affiliated sect of Yunfeng Holy Land, whose strength is at the martial spirit realm, and so on. But among so many people, the number who can ultimately join Yunfeng Holy Land is estimated to not exceed 1 million. Only one person out of several thousand can join. A terrifying elimination rate. Amidst the pushing and shoving of countless people, Chu Xiangyun, from a small family in an ordinary state within the 3,000 great states of the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand Worlds, had a calm expression, out of place compared to the excitement of those around him, displaying the powerful air of a protagonist and the composure exclusive to a protagonist. He walked with some people into the large square outside the Holy Land, which was almost as big as a small country, waiting for the Holy Land elders to select new disciples. Yunfeng Holy Land does not recruit disciples based on cultivation, but only on bone structure, talent, and luck. If one has good talent, they are accepted. If one has good luck, they are also accepted. And how is talent and luck determined? By placing one's hand on Yunfeng Holy Land's sect-guarding treasure, the Chaos Bell. The Chaos Bell will split into thousands of smaller Chaos Bells. 1 million people will be tested at a time. If the Chaos Bell chimes once, it's an ordinary genius. If it chimes twice, it's a 1 in 10,000 genius. If it chimes 3 times, one can join Yunfeng Holy Land and become an outer sect disciple. Chiming 4 times allows one to become an inner sect disciple, 5 times a core disciple, 6 times a personal disciple, 7 times a quasi-saint, and 8 times a Holy Land saint, a rarity seen only once every 10 billion years. Since 1 million people can be tested at a time, even with so many people present, it quickly became Chu Xiangyun's turn. Chu Xiangyun did not immediately place his hand on the Chaos Bell. Instead, he saw the small villain beside him, who came from a rival family and clearly disliked him. Yi Liangfeng, and a brilliant smile formed on the corner of his mouth. "What are you smiling at, like your mother?" "Chu Xiangyun, I'm not trying to insult you, but with your useless talent, is it really necessary to come to Yunfeng Holy Land and make a fool of yourself? Don't you even look at your own cultivation? A 3rd-tier martial force realm. What's there to test at this realm? Indeed, your talent before the age of 10 was very strong. You started to cultivate at 3, broke through to the 3rd-tier martial force at 4, broke through to the martial artist realm at 5, became a martial master at 8, and were about to break through to great martial master at 10. This cultivation speed is extremely rare, even within the entire Holy Land. But at the age of 10, your talent became waste. For the next 10 years, not only did your cultivation not improve, but it regressed several major realms. Your entire family searched for heaven and earth treasures for you, but it was useless. Your family also suffered massive losses in manpower and resources, selling off a large amount of property. Directly falling from a first-rate family in Sky City to a second-rate family. If I were you, I would honestly give up being a simple waste, or offer your incredibly beautiful childhood sweetheart to young Master Yun behind me. Then, if I put in a few good words, young Master Yun might even give you a position. Don't say I didn't warn you. Young Master Yun is ranked 3rd on the prodigy list, and he's also the contemporary young lord of a martial emperor family. Yi Liangfeng, dressed in black, looking like a typical villain, saw that your descendant, Chu Xiangyun, still had the audacity to smile at this point. He habitually mocked him, his face filled with ridicule and disdain, as if he was about to witness your descendant making a fool of himself. Saying this, he placed his hand on the chaos bell. Soon, the chaos bell in front of him chimed 3 times. 3 chimes of the chaos bell meant an outer sect disciple of the Holy Land. Chu Xiangyun, did you see that? A Holy Land outer sect disciple. We are no longer people of the same world. Once, a genius like you, I was inferior to you. But now, you are inferior to me. Hada. The small villain Yi Liangfeng, quote-s face, was filled with triumphant laughter. However, at this moment, he suddenly heard 1 chime after another from beside him. 1 chime, 2 chimes, 3 chimes, 4 chimes. Upon hearing the 4th chime, without any hesitation, he immediately looked in the direction of your descendant, Chu Xiangyun. His eyes were filled with disbelief, incredulity, and distrust. Impossible, absolutely impossible. With your trash talent, how could 4 bells ring? Did you cheat? You definitely cheated. When Yi Liangfeng saw that the 4 chaos bell chimes were indeed for Chu Xiangyun, whom he had previously mocked as trash and not of his world, he was completely stunned. He was utterly dumbfounded and filled with disbelief. Dong, dongs, dong. Chu Xiangyun ignored Yi Liangfeng, who had lost his usefulness and was now a clown in his eyes. The chaos bell continued to chime, one after another. 5 chimes, 6 chimes, 7 chimes. 8 chimes, Saint of the Holy Land. 9 chimes. Martial God in infancy. Boom tilde tilde, boom tilde tilde, boom tilde tilde. As the 9 chaos bell chimes rang out, all the disciples about to join Yunfeng Holy Land, the elders auditing new disciples, the Holy Lord in the Holy Land's main hall, and the numerous old undying ones lying in coffins in the Holy Land's seclusion chambers were all awakened. They were startled awake instantly. The latter's gaze penetrated endless space, and their attention immediately fell upon their descendants, Chu Xiangyun. Their eyes were filled with pleasant surprise. Ha 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 ha, our Yunfeng Holy Land has dominated the entire world for trillions of years, and throughout that time, only 2 peerless individuals have ever caused 9 chaos bell chimes. Without exception, these 2 individuals are now the strongest martial god old ancestors in our Holy Land. They are the existences that suppress the entire foundation of the Holy Land. Now, it may not be long before our Holy Land gives birth to a 3rd martial god old ancestor. The Golden Age has begun, and geniuses, prodigies, and monstrous prodigies are constantly emerging from all corners of the world. A 9 luminaries saint body appeared in Split Heaven Holy Land. A king body appeared in the Kangyun royal family, and even Blue Cloud Holy Land has a peerless empress who broke through to the martial spirit realm, causing the chaos green lotus phenomenon. Now, the peerless prodigy belonging to our Yunfeng Holy Land has finally appeared. With the vigorous cultivation from our Holy Land, our Holy Land saint will undoubtedly be able to suppress all enemies in the world, even in this golden age. Ascending to the Emperor realm with an invincible, crushing posture. Exclamations of praise and delight continuously poured from the mouths of the many powerhouses of Yunfeng Holy Land. Everyone had already envisioned the grand scene of their Holy Land, gaining another peak powerhouse in the future. With 3 peak-level existences presiding, their Holy Land would leap to become the Holy Land with the most peak powerhouses in the entire world. As the Holy Land powerhouses praised and rejoiced, the geniuses from various parts of the world who had not yet joined felt envy and jealousy, and Yi Liangfeng, the minor villain, was bewildered and despairing. Suddenly, the entire Xuanfeng Minor Thousand world experienced a tremendous tremor. The entire world was shaking. The earth was shaking, the sky was shaking, the rules were shaking, the Tao was shaking, the world barrier was shaking, and the chaos void outside the world was also shaking. Due to the immense commotion, the many powerhouses in Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World, whether they were cultivating, in seclusion, or doing anything else, appeared in the sky at the first instant. Their divine thought swept across the heavens and earth, constantly investigating the changes and the source of the world's tremors. The power capable of shaking the entire world had already surpassed the martial god level. What does this signify? There's no need to say more. If they could find the source of this power, they might have a chance to step beyond the martial god level. At that point, there would be no more 4 great holy lands in the entire world. The entire world would be theirs. Among them, the martial god powerhouses of the 4 great holy lands were the most eager. They had been in the martial god realm for countless eons, and after endless years of exploration, they had long believed they thoroughly understood the power ceiling of the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Because middle thousand worlds could move, and there were no major thousand worlds around them, Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World was surrounded at most by minor thousand worlds of the same level. Therefore, the martial god powerhouses of this world naturally believed that their world was a top-tier world among the all heavens and myriad realms, and their strength was at the peak of the all heavens and myriad realms. No one in the all heavens and myriad realms was stronger than them. They were invincible existences. They could do whatever they pleased. Chu He was speechless. Ignorance is truly a kind of bliss. If I were also that ignorant, I'd probably be very happy right now, so happy I wouldn't eat beef anymore. But now, the sudden tremors of the world, and even the surrounding chaos spacetime, seemed to be telling them that they were not invincible yet. There were still higher-level powerhouses and levels of power in the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Roar tilde tilde. Before the many martial saint and martial godlevel existences could figure out the source of the world's tremors, 9 earth-shattering dragon roars echoed throughout the entire world. 9 incomparably massive, purple-gold dragon phantoms, each tens of trillions of miles in size, pulling a golden ranking, appeared in the sky. The ranking was incredibly huge. Anyone in the entire world, no matter which corner they were in, whether they closed their eyes or looked at the ground, could see this ranking. And upon seeing it, they immediately knew its name: Grandmist Creation Golden Ranking. It records everything in the entire all heavens and myriad realms, past, future, and present. It is omniscient, omnibenevolent, omnipotent, and travels among all the worlds of the all heavens and myriad realms. Upon arriving in any world, it will clearly rank the people with the greatest potential, the strongest power, and the highest future achievements in that world. Furthermore, those ranked at the top can receive rewards from the golden ranking. The reward is whatever the person currently needs most. With the appearance of this Grandmist Creation Golden Ranking, and its name and function manifesting in everyone's minds, everyone in the entire Xuanfeng world was shaken. Everyone's faces showed expressions of disbelief, unable to believe that such an awesome thing existed in this world. I finally understand this so-called exposure game. It's the golden ranking exposure stream, right? This thing must be a system that those descendants of the family obtained from some transmigrators while clearing out the surrounding chaos spacetime. What was once the foundation for those transmigrators to establish themselves has now become mere playthings in the hands of these descendants. Seeing the true face of this so-called exposure game, Chu He truly laughed. He really hadn't expected it. His descendants were actually so good at playing games. As for what the exposure game would reveal next, there was no need for anyone to say it, and no need to keep watching. Chu He already knew. It was nothing more than exposing Chu Xiangyun's true identity and true situation, then basking in the surprised, shocked, and worshipful gazes of everyone around. Although he was the one who created this platform for showing off, and then showing off himself, he had to admit that just thinking about that situation, Chu He actually felt a bit of an impulse. I actually have the urge to go play. I really want to create a golden ranking exposure system and expose myself. Thinking about it, it really is interesting. I'll play it once after this simulation ends. Without waiting for the others around to recover from their state of shock, the golden ranking began its exposure, exposing the 10 people with the greatest achievements in the future of the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World. Rank 10, Yizhan. Identity: current Holy Lord of the Qingshan Holy Land Realm, Martial God Late Stage. Future achievement: Martial God Peak, and one of the billions of unremarkable servants of the Great Chaos Great Tao Controller, Chu Xiangyan. Due to ranking 10th, and because what the person being exposed wants most right now is to break through their current realm, they are hereby rewarded with a portion of Xuanling heavenly water. Refining this heaven and earth treasury allows one to break through a small realm. Rank 9, Wang Zhen. Identity: current Holy Lord of the Liashan Holy Land Realm, Martial God Middle Stage. Future achievement: Martial God Peak Realm, and one of the billions of lowly servants of the third child among the many descendants of the Great Chaos Great Tao Controller, Chu Xiangyan. Due to ranking 9th, and because what the person being exposed wants most right now is to resurrect their former beloved, they are hereby rewarded with one resurrection opportunity. Rank 8. Rank 3, Shengzi. Identity: current Holy Lord of the Yunfeng Holy Land Realm, Martial God Late Stage Realm. Future achievement: 11th Order Divine Venerable Peak Realm, future guest elder of the Great Chaos Great Tao Controller Chu Xiangyan's family. Rank 2, Xuanyun. Identity: first old ancestor of the Yunfeng Holy Land Realm, Martial God Peak. Future achievement: 12th Order Immortal Venerable Realm, future honorary elder of the Great Chaos Great Tao Controller Chu Xiangyan's family. One after another, the top figures within the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World were continuously ranked. Normally, after these figures were ranked, they should have received the admiration of the world, the reverence of countless people. However, after seeing the future achievements of these people, everyone was stunned. Especially those ranked figures, who were even more bewildered, unable to believe that these were their future achievements. Between rank 10th and 3rd, 7 people, all without exception, were one of the billions of servants of a chaos great Tao controller named Chu Xiangyan, or were his descendants' servants. As for those people in the Yunfeng Holy Land, their future achievements were not servants, but guest elders and honorary elders, and their realms were things like divine venerable and immortal venerable. Each one was a realm they had never heard of. This situation was something the many powerhouses absolutely could not accept. Most of them sneered, wanting to see what kind of person was ranked first, and whether it was that person named Chu Xiangyan. Just how impressive was the other party's future achievement that it could make all of them become servants. If this strange golden ranking that suddenly appeared couldn't explain things clearly, they would like to teach this golden ranking a lesson. It did not make them wait too long. Very quickly, the person ranked first appeared on the golden ranking, and possibly because they were first, after this person appeared, their past and future experiences all surfaced on it. Rank 1, Chu Xiangyan. Identity: current eldest young master of the Chu family, a second-rate family in Sky City, currently 3rd Order martial strength, a disciple favored by an existence at the Chaos Great Tao Controller level. Future achievement: Chaos Great Tao Controller, a truly great existence in the endless all heavens and myriad realms. Your descendant, Chu Xiangyan's face appeared on the list, along with the ranking of the Grandmist Creation Golden Ranking. At first, upon seeing the strength column of your descendant, which was still only their world's first realm, everyone in the entire world burst into laughter. The laughter was full of mockery. They really didn't believe that someone still lingering in the first realm could have such achievements in the future. The 3rd Order martial strength realm was something most people around 15 years old in their world had already reached. Amidst the mocking gazes of the many in the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World, your descendant Chu Xiangyun was already impatient, wanting to see his own experiences exposed, his own future exposed. In the surprised and disbelieving gazes of everyone in the entire world, Chu Xiangyun's past and future were played in rapid succession. The past experiences were still normal, just the situation of turning from a top genius into trash, which made others feel very strange. But this was still within the acceptable range for normal people. However, after Chu Xiangyun arrived at Yunfeng Holy Land, and amidst everyone's shocked gazes, 9 sounds rang out in the chaos, and he became the current strongest prodigy of the Yunfeng Holy Land. All future experiences went off the rails. At 22, it took him 1 year to achieve the martial king realm, rarely seen among the prodigy disciples of all major powers in this golden age. Ascending to the position of the strongest prodigy. Ranked first on the prodigy ranking. At 23, he achieved the martial emperor realm, leaving all subsequent prodigies and monsters unable to catch up, only able to show despair. Kuo Sheng, who was ranked second on the prodigy ranking after him, even shouted the line, "Since K exists, why must Chu also exist?" At 24, he achieved the martial venerable realm. At 25, he ascended to martial saint. At 26, when he was about to ascend to the martial god realm, he faced an ambush by 6 martial god powerhouses from all the other holy lands. Not only was he completely fine, but he instead counterkilled everyone, enslaved them all, and by using this opportunity to break out of the cocoon and become a butterfly, he broke through the martial barrier, becoming the #1 person throughout history, allowing Yunfeng Holy Land to stand at the peak of the entire world, becoming the synonym for truly invincible. At 1,000 years old, having traveled through dozens of surrounding minor thousand worlds, his cultivation reached the level of creation, stepping beyond the martial barrier that countless prodigies and monsters throughout history could not achieve. Breakthrough to the 9th Order realm. Achieving the position of divine venerable powerhouse. Divine venerable. A celestial venerable is immortal. Every powerhouse who reaches the celestial venerable realm possesses eternal and immortal lifespan. Even in middle thousand worlds above minor thousand worlds, and major thousand worlds above middle thousand worlds, they can be considered a formidable powerhouse. Admired and sought after by countless people. It was on the day he achieved the celestial venerable realm that Chu Xiangyun learned there had always been a great existence behind him. A terrifying figure at the chaos great Tao controller level had been watching him and had the idea of taking him as a disciple. So, after he achieved the celestial venerable realm, Chu Xiangyun became the disciple of this chaos great Tao controller level existence. A chaos great Tao controller, what kind of existence is that? What kind of great figure is that? Such a figure, even on the scale of the entire all heavens and myriad realms, can be considered to have entered the inner circle. They are a person of no small importance, enough to occupy trillions of chaos spacetime. Having achieved the celestial venerable realm, and with a chaos great Tao controller level powerhouse as his backer, Chu Xiangyun's progress in strength was even faster. He successively broke through the divine venerable, immortal venerable, and achieved great Luo. Then he broke through to Tao venerable, half-step chaos great Tao controller, directly controlling a chaos spacetime. After countless chaos eras of cultivation, he finally achieved the chaos great Tao controller. The entire Chu family also became a supreme top family under Chu Xiangyun's leadership. Countless people benefited from this. The major powerhouses in the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World even felt lifelong honor in being able to become Chu Xiangyun's servants. They often felt proud of this matter. After all, for a tiny ant in the 9th Order realm to become the servant of a chaos great Tao controller, this is extremely rare in the entire all heavens and myriad realms. In just 1 hour, looking at the golden ranking of Grandmist creation, regarding Chu Xiangyun's past and future. Everyone in the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World had their horizons broadened, truly witnessing the splendor of the all heavens and myriad realms. Those martial saint and martial godpar houses, moreover, learned what it meant to be a frog in a well, looking at the moon in the sky. They learned that there are always people beyond people, and heavens beyond heavens. What they thought was a top world among the all heavens and myriad realms. Their world. It couldn't even rank in the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Above it, there were even more powerful middle thousand worlds, major thousand worlds, chaos spacetime, and only then came the true all heavens and myriad realms. They hadn't even seen the true appearance of the all heavens and myriad realms. Yet they actually thought their world was a top world among the all heavens and myriad realms. How ridiculous. Even more ridiculous was that they actually believed the so-called martial god realm was the true supreme powerhouse in the all heavens and myriad realms. However, this was only their own assumption. The golden ranking described that the so-called martial god realm in the all heavens and myriad realms is merely a small ninth-order realm. They don't even have the most basic eternal life. Above them are celestial venerable, divine venerable, immortal venerable, great Luo, Tao venerable, half-step chaos great Tao controller, chaos great Tao controller, and so on. Those levels of existence are the true supreme powerhouses. In the eyes of such existences, they don't even have the qualifications to be servants. Didn't they see that in the family founded by Chu Xiangyun, the chaos great Tao controller, let alone himself? Even a random member or servant in his family is at least great Luo level. They are countless levels higher than them. For them to be able to become servants of such existences in the future, in a certain sense, it truly is their honor. Honor, not even qualified to be a servant. Ha 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 ha. What a joke. I'm a complete joke. I actually had the thought of killing such an existence. I'm afraid the moment I had this thought, a great existence behind me was already staring at me. Such an existence, isn't it easy for them to penetrate the past, future, and present? Once I make a move, no, even without you making a move, as long as I have that thought, it won't be long before I might no longer exist in this world. Even if such an existence cannot penetrate the past and future at the beginning of the world, didn't he still have a master, a great existence at the chaos great Tao controller level? Now, according to the timeline, Chu Xiangyun has not yet become the supreme chaos great Tao controller of the future. He is still just a discipluho has just participated in the Holy Land assessment. So, if I proactively go and serve Chu Xiangyun as a dog, is there any hope of succeeding? After succeeding, I don't ask for too much. Just being able to achieve the celestial venerable realm and possess eternal life would be enough. Countless powerhouses in the entire world were now a little crazy. Their eyes were bloodshot. Many people immediately began to mobilize their strength and started searching the world for Chu Xiangyun. Among them, those cultivators at the 8th order and 9th order realm were the most frantic. No one wanted to be a step slower and then become Chu Xiangyun's servant in the future. Didn't they see that the two people in the Yunfeng Holy Land were precisely because they were a step earlier? So in the future, one became a guest elder and the other a consecrated elder. Their status was immeasurably higher than theirs. Among these people, no one harbored murderous intent towards Chu Xiangyun, your descendants. Even those who would become servants in the future, not a single one had such a thought. Anyone with such a thought is an idiot. Eternal great Luo-level powerhouses can reverse time and space to revive people, and behind the other person is a chaos great Tao controller, several realms higher than an eternal great Luo. Even if he died, they could revive him in minutes. However, if someone were to make a move, that person would surely die, and die for nothing. Compared to making a move, it's better to proactively become a dog. In the future, one might even become a dog king. As one by one, The powerhouses from the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World appeared before Chu Xiangyan, and each of them was full of fawning and flattery. Their tone constantly flattered Chu Xiangyan, their posture as low as it could be, with no lowest, only lower. All of them were as obedient as dogs. Even the proudest, most confident, and most self-proclaimed invincible people in this world before. When facing Chu Xiangyan, they lowered their proud heads. They learned to fawn and flatter others. Looking at the fawning gazes of everyone around him, Chu Xiangyan, your descendants, had already gotten used to it millions of years ago. The people of their Chu family. They were born to enjoy blessings, to be above others, and to receive everyone's worship, envy, reverence, and flattery. They could do whatever they wanted, and they didn't eat beef. This flattery is just a trifle. These people want to be my dogs. Are they even worthy? Even the weakest of my dogs has the strength of the Daluo realm. A bunch of ninth-order realm ants. Not very strong, but they dream big. Chu Xiangyan shook his head slightly, suddenly feeling a great aversion to the flattery of others around him and to this exposure game. He became extremely annoyed. If it weren't for his old ancestor still watching outside, Chu Xiangyan wouldn't even want to play anymore. Outside the Xuanfeng Minor Thousand World. When your descendants, Chu Xiangyan, were annoyed, you were actually a little annoyed too. Over these hundreds of years, you've played this kind of exposure game dozens of times. Some were similar to this time, where your descendants were the protagonists of the exposure game. Others were different. For example, when you were the protagonist, just like the time before last, you chose a minor thousand worlds as a place to play. Then you entered it and became the protagonist of the game. Next, the Grand Mist Creation Golden Ranking began to expose your future achievements. But this golden ranking, once exposed, didn't just end there. After exposing your existence, a gigantic river of time appeared above that minor thousand worlds, and then at the future end of the river of time, a mighty figure ascended against the current. Returning from the future to the past, this person is, needless to say, you, who has already achieved the Chaos Great Tao Controller in the future. Then, you, returning from the future, unleashed your power as a Chaos Great Tao Controller, and in the eyes of everyone in the minor thousand worlds, you began to attack the Grand Mist Creation Golden Ranking, and loudly declared, "Damn you, Xuan Chaos Great Tao Controller, if you can't beat me in the future, it's one thing if you don't hide from me, but you dare to disturb my past in front of this Chaos Great Tao Controller. Do you really think I wouldn't dare to kill you?" A terrifying battle erupted instantly. It broke out in the eyes of everyone in this minor thousand worlds, destroying chaos spacetime at every turn, fighting in the river of time, in the past, in the present, and in the future. Severing the river of time of myriad ages, fighting until the Tao was annihilated. And the entire battle was displayed through the Golden Rankings operation. And the one who was pretending to fight you was just any one of the many Chaos Great Tao Controllers in your Chu family. Damn, exposing himself, then fighting with others, fighting until the river of time collapses and the Tao is annihilated. Telling others how awesome he is. Is that even allowed? Also, play is play, but don't joke about the dead. No matter what grudges there were before, the deceased should be respected. Old Seventh is really something. The Yuk Xuan Chaos Great Tao Controller, that annoying fellow, was killed by the powerhouses of his own race, yet he still wants to mess with him in the simulation. Seriously, he has no respect for the dead. Watching Old Seventh's actions in the simulation, Chu He shook his head, showing great disdain. He absolutely would not admit that he had an immediate urge to play once just now. Absolutely not. This is the exposure game you played. It must be said. It was quite satisfying at first, perfectly matching your enjoyment. However, any game played too much will become a bit annoying. Still, I should go back and continue creating my minor Tao when I get tired of cultivating. I'll play a few other games with those lovely descendants. I heard those lovely descendants recently came up with a new game. It seems to be called Transmigrate, Transmigrate and Transmigrate again. Rebirth, rebirth, and rebirth again. This game sounds fun. I can try it next time I get tired of cultivating. After playing games for hundreds of years and once again yearning to cultivate, you looked at the descendants in the world again, told yourself to leave, and then. The next second, you appeared in the city lord's mansion of the Myriad Heavens Mall and began to create your minor Tao. Creating a minor Tao, in fact, still requires seizing every moment. If you are one step too slow. Coincidentally, somewhere else in the all heavens and myriad realms, someone has the same idea as you, creating a similar minor Tao. And creates it first, engraving it into the great Tao river of the all heavens and myriad realms. And is recognized by the all heavens and myriad realms. Then, even if you are only one step away from creating the minor Tao of imprint, just a tiny bit short of being able to create it. And you created it entirely yourself. Then, even if you truly create it, you will not be recognized by the all heavens and myriad realms. At that time, you will become an unlucky one. Although the probability of this situation is very low, there have indeed been a few unlucky people in the all heavens and myriad realms who encountered this. When they were one step away from creating it, someone else got there first, and the minor Tao they spent countless years creating became a joke, causing them to instantly despair. Helplessly, they could only find another minor Tao, another direction, and continue to create. However, you don't believe your luck is that bad. You are the protagonist. Although you looked at your luck and found nothing special about it, you still believe you are the protagonist. Your previous experiences have clearly demonstrated this. Furthermore, you don't believe that there is anyone else in the all heavens and myriad realms with such heaven-defying wisdom who could have the same thoughts as you. This probability is too small. For someone with heaven-defying wisdom like you, it's already a blessing for the all heavens and myriad realms to have one of you. How could a second person appear? And if such a person truly appeared, you would find them through your descendants. Then kill them. To vent your hatred. To let them know exactly who they provoked. To let them know that Ma Wanjai has 3 eyes, a Chinese idiom meaning to show someone who's boss. Closing your eyes. All sorts of ideas belonging to the minor Tao of imprint appeared in your mind. Time flew by quickly, and in the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of chaos eras had passed. Throughout these tens of thousands of chaos eras, the chaos spacetime controlled by the Chu family already exceeded 10 million trillion, and the total number of foreign race chaos great Tao controllers and human race chaos great Tao controllers captured using regional illusions exceeded 10 million. With so much chaos spacetime falling under the Chu family's control, this allowed the Chu family to achieve unprecedented development, with the total number of chaos great Tao controllers in the family exceeding 100 billion. The numbers of half-step chaos great Tao controllers and cultivators in the Deluo Tao Lord realm are naturally too numerous to mention. Forming several million or tens of millions of army corps would not be a problem. It would only take minutes. It can only be said that when a person's social stratum changes, the things they encounter change as well. During your previous simulations, when you first came into contact with the Hun Tian Great Thousand World, you only knew that. A person in the 7th-tier realm was merely a foot soldier in the Hun Tian army. In the major thousand worlds, only experts in the heavenly venerable, divine venerable, and immortal venerable realm could be considered important figures. But once the Hun Tian Great Thousand World started fighting other major thousand worlds, experts in the heavenly venerable, divine venerable, and immortal venerable realm were also just minor figures. To a certain extent, they were also foot soldiers. Only experts in the Deluo Tao Lord realm could possess any real influence in that great war. At that time, in your eyes, Experts in the Deluo Dao Lord realm were the true important figures in the entire all heavens and myriad realms. They were your ultimate goal. But having reached your current level, the so-called Deluo Dao Lords can no longer even serve as foot soldiers. The minimum requirement for a foot soldier is now a half-step Chaos Great Dao Controller. Chaos Great Dao Controllers of ordinary strength can only serve as squad leaders. Chaos Great Dao Controllers who surpass their peers by tenfold can only be a Grand Captain, and those whose strength exceeds their peers by 100-fold become a Chaos Legion Commander. All these circumstances were things you previously dared not imagine. Of course, the Chu family developed to such a massive scale and increased its strength so rapidly. It wasn't always smooth sailing in development. Controlling so many Chaos Great Dao Controllers and occupying such a large territory. Accidents were bound to happen occasionally. Among these incidents, several hundred Chaos eras ago, a foreign race expert in the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm appeared in a location millions of trillions of chaos spacetime away from you. Once that expert in the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm appeared in this nearby chaos spacetime, he immediately realized what was happening. Because he actually discovered more than 10 Chaos Great Dao Controllers within the chaos spacetime he was in. Since when were Chaos Great Dao Controllers so densely packed in the chaos spacetime of the all heavens and myriad realms? Any clear-headed person could see there was a problem. Although he knew there was a problem, this cultivator in the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm was somewhat thick-headed. He didn't immediately report the news to his race. Instead, he prepared to handle it himself. This could actually be considered normal, because at the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm, unless they faced exceptionally perverse existences of the same level, otherwise, throughout the entire all heavens and myriad realms, only experts at the Hengmeng Dao ancestor level were stronger than them. Everyone else was either at the same realm or inferior to them. And how noble was the status of an expert at the Hengmeng Dao ancestor level. They didn't need to hide or conceal anything they did. They could simply proceed openly and honestly. Therefore, it was clearly the work of an expert of the same level. Since it was an expert of the same level, what was there to fear? He could just fight them casually. Even if he lost, he wouldn't die immediately, and he would have plenty of time to inform the race supporting him. If he won, it would count as a merit, and he could exchange it for 1 or 2 heaven and earth treasures of the same level. This was the true thought process of this expert in the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm, and so he followed the clues all the way, but before he could find your family. You discovered him first. Or rather, the moment the opponent appeared, you had already detected him. Because this expert in the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm arrived in this area of chaos spacetime by teleporting through his race's spatial formation. And the spatial formations in the base of every foreign race chaos Great Dao controller had long been monitored by you using numerous methods, as soon as spatial fluctuations appeared within them. As soon as someone arrived, you, the Chu family old ancestor, would instantly know that an expert had arrived in the chaos spacetime controlled by your family. Therefore, when the opponent had only traveled tens of thousands of chaos spacetime, you appeared before him and created a regional illusion for him as well, causing the opponent to fall into the illusion and forget everything about this place. He then returned to his race's ancestral land. Don't ask how you were able to make such an expert fall into an illusion. Surely your strength isn't that immense. The answer is, this expert in the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm was not particularly powerful. He was just at the most ordinary level among his peers. This is the norm for experts in the quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm across the all heavens and myriad realms. Those who can reach this realm are indeed awesome figures, but precisely because everyone is awesome. It makes most experts at this realm seem ordinary. Their strength is average, and surpassing peers is extremely difficult. It's impossible for you to randomly encounter a quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor who is at the level of a seed of Hengmeng, a top-tier existence among their peers. Your luck isn't that bad. As for you, although you have cultivated for so many years, absorbed blood for a long time, and utilized the help of so many heaven and earth treasures provided by Chu Yunshin and Chu Zunshin, your strength hasn't increased much. Originally, your strength was already 2 million times that of your peers, equating to twice the combat power of a quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor. If you don't break through the realm with this level of strength, even using heaven-defying treasures cannot increase your combat power. Only breaking through the realm can improve it. However, if you only want to temporarily increase your combat power without improving your inherent combat power, using external items can actually achieve this. Chu Yunshin and Chu Zunshin, these two descendants, are extremely filial toward you, their old ancestor. Even after such a long time has passed, their filial piety has not changed at all. To prevent any accidents from happening to you, their old ancestor, while they are away, they specifically spent a large amount of cultivation resources to commission someone to forge a treasure for you. The 9 Tribulations, Indestructible Armor. A treasure created by sacrificing over 1,000 quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm powerhouses of foreign races, then using various top-tier resources to help fuse their origins into one. A treasure that enhances combat power externally. As long as it is used, even an ordinary person can instantly gain hundreds of times the strength of a quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor realm powerhouse. The cost of forging this treasure is extremely high. The mere consumption of over 1,000 quasi-grandmist Dao ancestors speaks for itself. The greater expense lies with the person who forged this treasure, a person capable of forging such an item. The artifact refining technique must be incredibly profound. The cost of asking such a person to refine it even once. It is only because Chu Yunshin and Chu Zunshin are currently living very comfortably in the human race ancestral land, receiving attention from many, and because of the respect they hold for you, the family ancestor who brought them all of this. Their filial piety has not wavered at all. On the contrary, because their combat power has brought them so much attention from the human race. Their filial piety and respect for you, their family ancestor, have increased significantly. They were thus able to go through immense hardship to obtain this treasure for you. It is precisely because of this treasure, combined with your own combat power already reaching 102 times that of a quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor of the same rank, that you were able to deal with that quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor and use a regional illusion on him. The opponent's strength is only 1 time that of a quasi-grandmist Dao ancestor, while your strength surpasses theirs by over 100 times. Wanting to control that person is very easy. What does it mean for a good old ancestor to receive good karma? This is what it means for a good old ancestor to receive good karma. They give me everything, not only providing me with so many cultivation resources, but even while they are in the human race ancestral land, they constantly worry about the safety of this old ancestor's life. Ha Jai Chu, every single one of you truly moves this old ancestor deeply. Chu He wanted to cry. Moved, he was deeply moved. The family descendants were like this. Chu Changj in Chu He number 6 was like this. And now Chu Yunshin and Chu Zunshin in number 7, Chu He were also like this. These people really are. Reward, I must heavily continue to reward these descendants. From now on, if anyone dares to mess with my descendants, even if they just lose a single hair, they will all be torn to shreds. If anyone dares to speak ill of my descendants, they will also all be torn to shreds. My descendants can do whatever they want, as long as they don't go too far against the human race or their own clansmen. Doing anything to those scaly and armored foreign races is fine. If they want to act like beasts, let them act like beasts. If they want to be profligate young masters, let them be profligate young masters. If they want to be emperors, let them be emperors. If they want to be Superman, let them be Superman. After conquering the entire all heavens and myriad realms, even if they want everyone in the entire all heavens and myriad realms to grow chives and eat chives, there's no problem. They should follow their hearts and do anything they want. If anyone dares to stop my descendants from realizing these ambitions, they will still all be torn to shreds. The speed of creating the minor Tao of imprintees slightly faster than I had imagined. Only a few tens of thousands of chaos eras have passed, and I have already created a little less than half. Although it has not been completely created yet. But the remaining portion can probably be completed in only 200,000 chaos eras. Not bad, keep up the effort. Inside the myriad heavens mall city lord's mansion, number 7, Chu, he was very satisfied with the speed at which he was creating his minor Tao. Although this speed was extremely slow compared to Chu Yunshin and Chu Zunshin, who were in the human race ancestral land. According to the servants who recently delivered resources, Chu Yunshin and Chu Zunshin had already created less than half a long time ago, and now they probably have created half. They would be able to completely create a minor Tao in, at most, another 20 to 30,000 chaos eras, achieving the quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor rank. This speed far exceeds yours, being 10 times faster or even more. This is still because of your drag. Otherwise, they could be even faster. Even before breakthrough to the quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor realm, you are already far inferior to those two descendants, and after truly achieving the breakthrough, the speed gap will only widen. Because the many human race powerhouses have a cultivation accelerator in the quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor realm, which is the myriad heavens minor Tao propagation platform. With this item, the speed at which human race quasi-grandmist Tao ancestor realm powerhouses perfect their own minor Taos will far surpass yours. It is hundreds or even thousands of times faster than your speed of breakthrough to Hengmeng Tao ancestor. This treasure is truly awesome. It is something created through the joint efforts of the 3 human race lineages and tens of millions of Hengmeng Tao ancestor realm powerhouses. If it weren't for the fact that using this treasure requires consuming a very precious resource each time, preventing its infinite use without cost. If that were possible, the current number of Hengmeng Tao ancestor powerhouses in the human race could terrifyingly increase by 10-fold or more. That's right, this treasure is that awesome. Even though it cannot be used infinitely now, it has still made the speed at which the human race produces Hengmeng Tao ancestors about 3 times faster than before. Originally, the speed at which the human race produced Hengmeng Tao ancestors already far surpassed the other races in the all heavens and myriad realms. Even the other 7 supreme races were far inferior. There was a gap of several times. When a supreme race produced 1 Hengmeng Tao ancestor, the human race could produce at least 3 or 4. And now there is another 3-fold gap, meaning that when those races produce 1, the human race can produce 12. Fast in one step, fast in every step. This is how the human race's strength was achieved. Standing up, you walked out of the city lord's mansion, where you had been cultivating in seclusion for several thousand chaos eras. Feeling the auras of countless powerful chaos great Tao controllers outside, a sweep of divine thought revealed the dense concentration of powerhouses. Anyone who came to look, even powerhouses from the human race ancestral land, would be extremely surprised. In this myriad heavens mall, which is slightly less than half the size of a chaos spacetime, there are actually tens of billions of chaos great Tao controllers. How utterly insane this is. Too brutal. Such a small area actually houses so many chaos great Tao controllers. This is even after you previously took action to upgrade the myriad heavens mall, raising its rank from the half-step chaos great Tao level to the true chaos great Tao level. This is what allowed the myriad heavens Malto grow from the size of a major 1,000 World Sinto, its current state. Otherwise, if a region the size of a major thousand worlds contained tens of billions of chaos great Tao controllers, that would be insanity piled upon insanity. Even the experts of the human race would have to exclaim, "Awesome! This is the family I personally built. Just look at the number of experts. If you don't count the quasi-Grandmist Tao Ancestor and Hengmeng Tao Ancestor level experts. Their overall strength is already greater than that of ordinary third-rate races in the all heavens and myriad realms. But even those third-rate races, even if they recently advanced by giving birth to a Hengmeng Tao Ancestor expert, have developed for at least tens of millions of Hengmeng eras. Yet my family, from the start of this simulator until now, has only existed for tens of thousands of chaos eras. I just have one question. With this rate of development, who else in the entire all heavens and myriad realms can compare? They are all goddamn trash. Heh heh. They'll be instantly killed by my family, leaving not even scraps behind. Looking at the strength of your Chu family and the power of your descendants, you feel extremely arrogant. You feel that your entire family has a brilliant future ahead. With this strength, as long as you continue to grow, you will truly be the most awesome existence in the entire all heavens and myriad realms. You can truly be as arrogant as you want without consequence. This is not an exaggeration at all. Once you mature in this simulation, you will be able to live until the end of time in the all heavens and myriad realms, and perhaps even wait for the time to compete for the transcendent opportunity. By that time, as you will be completely invincible, no one will fight you for this item, and you might be able to use this transcendent opportunity to see the scenery of the transcendent realm. Thinking of this, you once again fantasize in your heart, like an idiot, about what it would be like to achieve the transcendent realm, and what your family would be like, and what the main body outside would be like. If you truly achieve the transcendent realm, would you really be unable to distinguish whether you are the main body or his eighth self compared to the Chu He outside? The realm is called transcendence, and it's already so awesome. Then transcending a simulator should certainly not be a problem. The transcendent realm. This realm is more powerful and magnificent than the Hengmeng Tao Ancestor. You believe that even if it is fake, and the simulator only displays text, the person described within that text, having achieved transcendence, is still transcendent. And thus, they can transcend the simulator itself. This is true transcendence. Transcending the constraints of all things, transcending everything, transcending the great Tao, transcending the heavens, transcending time, space, karma, destiny, narrative, numbers, logic, fantasy, magnitude, realm, nothingness, cognition, language, right and wrong, truth and falsehood, eternity, absoluteness, hypothesis, possibility. As long as you wish it, then you can transcend all of these things. As long as you wish it, then you are invincible. As long as you wish it. Even if you instantly increase your strength hundreds or thousands of times in the next second, or instantly raise your power by more than 10 realms, surpassing transcendence by over 10 major realms. In the next second, you stack dozens or hundreds of layers of reality upon yourself. You lift something that exceeds your own limit of strength. You create an enemy stronger than yourself. None of this is a problem. As long as you wish it. No matter where you are, even if there are maps actually larger than the all heavens and myriad realms, or even maps a dozen or more levels higher than the all heavens and myriad realms. Even if the transcendent realm expert starts out extremely weak on those maps, they can become an invincible existence on that map in the very next second. This is the transcendence within your cognition. Only by reaching this level do you believe this is true transcendence. Anything that doesn't reach this level is fake. Or rather, even reaching this level is fake. It is still not true transcendence. Because transcendence also surpasses cognition. These things are merely the transcendence within your cognition. Since transcendence surpasses cognition, How can you possibly perceive the power of true transcendence? How can a mortal know the true power of a deity? How can an ant understand a giant dragon soaring through the 9 heavens? All right, stop fantasizing. Old Seventh, it's impossible for you to reach the transcendent realm. How can you become transcendent within the simulated world? Can the simulator even support the birth of a transcendent expert? Stop indulging in fantasies every day. Stop AAing every day. Old Seventh, stop thinking about revering the natural order and becoming the main body. Just obediently serve as my workhorse. Honestly improve your strength and feed it back to me. Perhaps then you can watch me achieve transcendence in reality, bringing all the simulated versions of myself with me. Watching the simulated version of himself, awing again. Chu He was truly speechless. From beginning to end, he never believed the simulator could allow him to achieve transcendence. At most, it could only make him invincible at the Hungmeng Dao ancestor realm. If he wanted to become transcendent, he still had to rely on his own self outside the simulator. Only I, old ancestor Chu, the great main body Chu, am the hope for everyone's transcendence. Walking out of the myriad heavens mall city lord's mansion, amidst the greetings and respectful, worshipful gazes of numerous descendants around you. You casually selected one of your descendants who was at the Chaos Great Tao Controller Realm. You asked them to introduce the new games developed by the wealthy young masters in the family, to see if there were any fun ones. Currently, because you, the old ancestor, had previously shown some fondness for these games. Therefore, in order to satisfy you, the old ancestor, the many high-ranking officials of the Chu family specifically issued a reward system for the wealthy young masters within the family. This system rewards inventing games, various games set within the all heavens and myriad realms. If the invention is good and highly popular, there will be a reward. Currently, several descendants have already become Chaos Great Tao controllers simply by inventing good games. The achievements of these individuals are the greatest mockery to the countless cultivators and seekers of the Tao in the all heavens and myriad realms who strive and are willing to sacrifice everything to become Chaos Great Tao controllers. The greatest satire. Simulator, if you hadn't helped me so much, I wouldn't be so grateful to you, since you don't possess your own sentience. Otherwise, based on what you just said, the greatest satire. I see you're also courting death. Just recently, I said that if anyone spoke ill of my descendants, they would all be torn to shreds. And now you're coming to undermine me. What's wrong with my descendants? They clearly work so hard researching games, forgetting to eat and sleep all day, and it's with such hardship that they achieve the Chaos Great Tao Controller Realm. How can their achievements be the greatest mockery to everyone else in the all heavens and myriad realms? Are other cultivators and Tao seekers as diligent as my descendants? What a joke. You truly speak without reason. You don't see with your eyes, you only speak with your mouth. They've clearly worked so hard. Seeing the simulator so unfairly accuse his diligent descendants, Chu He was extremely angry. His descendants, who worked so hard, were being so wrongly accused by something that wasn't even a proper entity. Truly, Chu He felt wronged for his descendants and wanted to speak out on their behalf. After learning about games from this chaos, Great Tao Controller's descendants, you chose one from the many games. Choose the one you want to play the most. This game is called No First Ascent, Only Further Ascent. Upon learning about the game played by you, their old ancestor, all the surrounding descendants wanted to play with you. They wanted to ascend. They wanted to get closer to you. There were no ulterior motives involved. Although getting closer to you and speaking a few words with you would make that descendant completely prosperous within the family, their status would rise by several ranks. The entire Chu family would do its best to help this descendant improve their strength, at least to the Chaos Great Tao Controller Realm. However, there were indeed not many with this idea. Most of the Chu family disciples were idle fish, and their desire to improve their strength was not very strong. Because they already had everything they should have. And they didn't want what they didn't have. From birth, they had everything others dared not even dream of. The best food, drink, housing, money, and possessions. As long as they had a dream or a goal, they didn't need to achieve it themselves. Merely stating it would make it happen. They could do anything they wanted, and it would be realized. It only depended on whether they wanted to or not. Most people improve their strength just to enjoy, don't they? Just to be able to enjoy it permanently, don't they? And since Chu family members have all these things from birth, their pursuit of strength naturally isn't as great. It's certainly good to become a chaos great Tao controller, but if they can't achieve it, then so be it. They'll continue to eat, drink, and be merry, living a life of debauchery. As long as they reach the celestial venerable realm and have infinite lifespan, they can do whatever they want. You did not refuse the idea of these descendants playing games with you. You directly initiated a large-scale family game. Taking several million prodigal disciples from the family, you did whatever you wanted in the surrounding chaos spacetime. With you and your family in the all heavens and myriad realms, it truly is a disaster, a blessing for the entire all heavens and myriad realms. A tremendous blessing. I truly dare not imagine what the all heavens and myriad realms would become if you and the entire Chu family were to grow stronger one day. Besides the human race, what kind of monstrous state would it turn into? That scene, tusk, tusk, tusk. Time for play always passes quickly, after playing for a few hundred years. You began a new session of secluded cultivation. While you were in secluded cultivation, the several million people who had played the game, no first ascent, only further ascent, with you all received attention from many high-ranking members of the Chu family. Their status had greatly improved. Various cultivation resources began to continuously gather towards them. Even if it meant piling up cultivation resources, their strength must be raised to the chaos great Tao controller realm. These were the fruits of these descendants' hard work, accompanying you, the family ancestor, in playing games. These descendants have worked so hard. It is only right that the family raises their strength to the chaos great Tao controller realm. No one can say that this is wrong. Simulator, aren't your words quite good now? These are the fruits of my descendants' hard work, and they deserve it. See, you can say nice things. Chu He nodded. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, more than 10,000 chaos eras passed. During your cultivation, for these more than 10,000 chaos eras, in a place extremely far from you, on the other side of the entire all heavens and myriad realms, a major event occurred that affected the all heavens and myriad realms. This event immediately attracted the attention of most third-rate, second-rate, first-rate races, and even the human race in the all heavens and myriad realms. Simply because, among the other 7 supreme races in the all heavens and myriad realms, 2 of them had a conflict. These 2 supreme races were the Supreme System race and the Supreme Demonic race. These 2 races had appeared in the previous simulation. Although these 2 races were not as formidable as the human race, they were still very, very formidable in the entire all heavens and myriad realms. Possessing very high status. Possessing very strong power. Otherwise, they would not have been able to attain the title of Supreme. Regardless of whether this supreme title, a title on par with the human race, had any exaggeration. Even if there was some exaggeration, the fact that other races in the all heavens and myriad realms bestowed this title upon them indicates that these 2 races indeed possessed some substance. If you were to replace them with a first-rate race, even if it claimed to be a supreme race, no race in the all heavens and myriad realms would acknowledge them. Nor would any race call them that. If their strength was poor, no amount of forced elevation would work. Only true strength, can earn genuine recognition from others for these supreme races. Each of these races has several million grandmist Tao ancestor-level powerhouses within them. Ordinary third-rate races only have 1 to 100 grandmist Tao ancestors. Second-rate races only have 100 to 10,000 grandmist Tao ancestors. First-rate races have more than 10,000. And these supreme races must have at least millions of grandmist Tao ancestor-level powerhouses presiding over them. And they must also have powerful existences whose strength surpasses grandmist Tao ancestors of the same level by hundreds of times.